I began to develop my own vision. Father and I would travel together to this foreign land. We would search, and we would find Michael. I could even see him when we found him. Disheveled, valiant, and even a bit surprised at our concern. Not easily prone to worry or fear, he would have surmounted the obstacles and landed on his feet, as he always had. In a fleeting fantasy, I became the princess departing with my father, the king, to find the lost prince, soon to be reunited in twinship, as it was meant to be.
The mysterious Ropen. Papua New Guinea has been associated with numerous mysteries, largely due to countless reports of unusual creatures and events in the region. Tribes have claimed encounters with large sauropod-like animals, and even when shown photos of modern species, they insist that the creatures they encounter are entirely different.
Big rats, cuscus, fantastic animals.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies, the thought of a giant rat, and I've been going down holes in sort of hollow trees looking for big things, and it's actually kept me awake at night.
One such creature frequently reported by locals is the Ropen. The Ropen is said to inhabit Papua New Guinea. Some describe it as resembling a large bat, while others say it closely resembles the ancient pterosaurs. These flying reptiles lived millions of years ago alongside dinosaurs and dominated the skies. Tribes claim that the creature hunts and emits bright lights, making it easier to detect when it's nearby. While fish is reportedly its primary food source, a more alarming aspect of its diet is said to include humans. Tribes warn that crossing certain water bodies can be dangerous because these are prime hunting grounds for the Ropen. The creature was reportedly first sighted by entomologist Evelyn Cheeseman, known for collecting over 70,000 specimens and being highly respected in the scientific community. It would be unusual for her to fabricate such claims. She was also regarded as someone who could distinguish between known animals and something entirely unknown to science. This has led some to speculate that the Ropen could be a surviving ancient flying reptile that escaped extinction. Many locals have stated that these creatures pose a real threat, making daily activities challenging. Fishermen have reported that dusk is the best time to observe these creatures, as they can be seen flying over rivers in search of fish. While smaller Ropens reportedly avoid humans, larger ones are said to have a taste for human flesh. Some researchers have proposed that what locals are witnessing might be an undiscovered species of large flying bat. For instance, the flying fox, one of the largest bat species, could account for these sightings. Many people underestimate the size of this creature. Although flying foxes are commonly found in regions like Australia and Madagascar, others have suggested that a related species could inhabit Papua New Guinea. As the largest bat species, flying foxes have wingspans exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet, and seeing one up close can make them seem even larger. A 5-foot bat is no small creature, and under low-light conditions it is easy to understand how someone might mistake it for an ancient flying reptile. Like many bats, flying foxes are nocturnal, which aligns with descriptions from eyewitnesses. Some residents in Papua New Guinea might not be aware of certain creatures and could potentially be mistaking this one for something else entirely. However, these creatures are known to consume fruits and flowers, which contradicts what some locals are claiming. One individual interviewed stated that they only eat fish and insisted he could distinguish between a Ropen and a bat. Currently, many locals describe this creature as having a wingspan of 20 feet and being significantly larger than any other flying animal in the area. Interestingly, sightings of similar creatures have been reported in other regions as well. A man who visited the Amazon during the 1970s recounted encountering something similar. He shared the following. While exploring deep in the Amazon, a few locals and I came across a massive bird-like animal. Its body appeared to be about 4 feet long, and its wingspan was over 20 feet. The wings reminded me of a bat with visible veins. After we spotted it, the creature immediately flew off. We didn't see it again for the rest of the day. The locals said they had seen these creatures before and referred to them by a name I can't remember. The only way I can describe it is as a cross between a bat and a bird. I'm not trying to convince anyone, but it's something I experienced years ago and I still don't know what it was. The New Guinean Iguanodon. The reports of the New Guinean Iguanodon have been likened to something straight out of a Jurassic Park scenario. Locals have shared intriguing accounts of a massive creature living in the region. In March 2004, numerous locals reported the presence of a dinosaur-like creature standing over 3 meters tall in the dense forests. They described it as having a large gray body, a head resembling a dog, and a tail similar to that of a crocodile. The creature was said to be wreaking havoc on a small village, destroying everything in its path. These accounts were picked up by various news outlets, prompting local authorities to investigate. When police arrived at the village, they confirmed the presence of a large creature causing destruction and immediately reported it to nearby stations and emergency services. This led the government to issue an SBS alert, a special emergency broadcast service alert. A police hunting party was dispatched to search for the creature in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. Residents on the volcanic island were advised to evacuate if possible. A journalist named Christine Samay, after hearing reports from other news outlets, rushed to the scene to learn more. Her efforts not only allowed her to witness the creature, but also enabled her to document its size, appearance, and behavior in detail. Other reports emerged, suggesting that the creature had eaten 3 dogs. Additionally, 6 police officers armed with M16 assault rifles reportedly brought the creature down and sent it to a secret location for further study. Researchers have struggled to uncover much information about the creature. Only a handful of reports describe its appearance and behavior. Some theories suggest the creature was part of an experiment, with this remote location chosen due to its sparse population. However, after the creature escaped, it went on a rampage, drawing attention by causing significant damage in the area. This eventually led to the military being called in to investigate the situation. Local residents reported seeing many individuals in military uniforms in the region where the creature had caused destruction. Other reports from the same area have described a creature with a similar appearance. Currently, the creature's identity remains unknown, but eyewitness accounts and descriptions hint that it may have been a dinosaur. New species are being discovered here every year. In 2009, a group of scientists from around the globe set out on an expedition to Mount Bosavi. Their goal was to explore the Bosavi crater while filming a BBC documentary titled The Lost Land of the Volcano. Mount Bosavi was an active volcano roughly 200,000 years ago. However, current studies and data classify it as an extinct volcano, with no evidence suggesting any eruptions will occur for at least the next million years. Thousands of years ago, the cone of the volcano collapsed, forming the Bosavi crater, an isolated environment that has become home to many unusual and previously unknown species. During the grueling journey through the dense jungles of Papua New Guinea, researchers discovered numerous new species. Among their findings were 16 species of frogs, 3 species of fish, and various insects, spiders, and bats. One discovery also brought validation to long-standing cryptid claims from the area. Over the years, locals had reported sightings of dog-sized rats, said to be capable of attacking humans or even small children. These accounts, often dismissed as cryptid tales, were proven true when the researchers identified a new species of giant rat. These rats, measuring up to 3 feet in length, were found throughout the crater. This discovery has sparked curiosity about other claims of large creatures in the region, including birds said to be the size of humans and lizards as large as cars. The vanishing village of Bougainville. In the heart of Bougainville, Papua New Guinea, lies a mystery that has puzzled people for decades. This story is about a village that simply vanished, leaving behind only questions, whispers of superstition, and a chilling emptiness. Known today as the Vanishing Village, the incident has become one of the most talked about unexplained events in the region. In the mid-1980s, a group of local traders traveled through the dense jungle to reach the village, which they visited regularly for trade. When they arrived, everything seemed eerily quiet. At first, they thought the villagers might be away hunting or working in the fields, but as they walked further in, they found something shocking. The village was empty. Every hut was abandoned. Cooking fires had burned out, tools were left lying in the dirt, and half-eaten meals sat untouched. Animals like pigs and chickens roamed freely, but there was no sign of the 300 people who lived there. It was as if the entire population had disappeared overnight. When news of the disappearance spread to nearby villages, people were horrified. Many believed the villagers had angered the forest spirit known as Kanoroko. According to ancient legends, Kanoroko is a powerful guardian of the jungle, protecting sacred trees and punishing anyone who disrespects the land. The missing villagers had reportedly been cutting down trees in a sacred grove, ignoring the warnings of their elders. A village elder from a neighboring tribe told a chilling story about strange events leading up to the disappearance. He described hearing loud cracking sounds at night, like giant trees being torn apart, even though there was no storm. Some villagers reported seeing glowing orbs of light hovering above the forest, moving silently through the sky. These were believed to be signs of Kanoroko's anger. "We heard the warnings," the elder said. "The spirits do not speak with words, they show us with signs." But they didn't listen. They thought they were too powerful for the forest to touch them. Desperate to find their missing friends and family, the neighboring villagers organized search parties. For weeks, they combed the jungle, searching for footprints, campsites, or any clues that could explain what had happened. But they found nothing. Adding to the mystery, researchers who later visited the site found no evidence of violence, disease, or natural disasters that could explain the sudden disappearance. There were no bodies, no tracks, and no signs that the villagers had migrated to another area. Some believed the villagers fled out of fear. Perhaps they thought the spirits were angry and left to escape their wrath. But if that were the case, why didn't they take their belongings or livestock with them? Why were meals left half-eaten as if people had been interrupted mid-bite? Over the years, many theories have been suggested to explain the vanishing village. Some researchers speculate that an unknown disease might have caused the villagers to abandon their homes, but this doesn't explain why no bodies were ever found. Others suggest the possibility of alien abduction, pointing to the mysterious light seen in the area as evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Modern technology like drones and satellite imaging has allowed experts to map the overgrown remains of the village, but no new clues have been uncovered. The jungle has reclaimed the land, erasing nearly all traces of the community that once thrived there. To this day, the vanishing village remains one of Papua New Guinea's greatest unsolved mysteries. Did the villagers succumb to the wrath of Kanoroko? Were they taken by something not of this world? Or is the truth something we have yet to imagine? The disappearance of Michael Rockefeller. One of the most intriguing and unsettling mysteries in Papua New Guinea's history is the disappearance of Michael Rockefeller, the son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller, who vanished in 1961 while on an expedition to study the art and culture of indigenous tribes in the region. Michael Rockefeller, a 23-year-old student at Harvard University, had a deep passion for art and anthropology. In 1961, he embarked on an expedition to the remote Asmat region of Papua New Guinea, along with Dutch anthropologist Rene Wassing. Their goal was to document the indigenous cultures, focusing particularly on the Asmat people, renowned for their intricate wood carvings and strong cultural traditions. Rockefeller and Wassing had been traveling in the Asmat region for several weeks, documenting the daily lives of the tribes and collecting art. On November 19, 1961, Rockefeller decided to set out in a small canoe with a local guide to reach a nearby village. The weather was poor and the journey was treacherous, with heavy rain and choppy waters. The group's canoe capsized, and Rockefeller was separated from his guide. After hours of being stranded in the swampy waters, Rockefeller attempted to swim to shore but was never seen again. Wassing later reported that he had made it to safety and tried to return to find Rockefeller but was unsuccessful. Search efforts and unsettling clues. A massive search operation was launched to find Rockefeller, involving both local villagers and government forces. Helicopters scoured the dense jungles and marshlands, but no trace of him was found. There were some unverified reports of local villagers seeing a man matching Rockefeller's description in the jungle, but none led to any concrete findings. However, in the months following the disappearance, a rumor surfaced that suggested a much darker fate. Some claimed that Rockefeller had been killed by the Asmat people. These rumors were supported by the fact that the Asmat tribe had a history of headhunting and ritualistic practices involving the taking of human life. The theory that Rockefeller was killed by the Asmat people began to gain traction when it was suggested that he might have ventured too far into their territory, violating their unwritten rules of engagement with outsiders. The Asmat tribe was known for its fierce independence and had had limited contact with the outside world. The possibility that Rockefeller had been killed as part of a ritualistic act was not out of the realm of possibility, considering the tribe's long history of headhunting. The details of what happened to Rockefeller after the accident remain unclear. There are some accounts from locals who claim to have seen a white man in the village months later, but the lack of evidence makes these claims questionable. The official investigation failed to find any conclusive proof that Rockefeller had been murdered, though the idea that the Asmat tribe had been involved remained a prominent theory. In 1969, the famous anthropologist Robert M.S. visited the Asmat region to gather information about the disappearance. Through interviews with villagers, he collected stories that hinted at the possibility that Rockefeller had indeed been killed and eaten. This practice, though long abandoned by most groups in the region, was not entirely unheard of among isolated tribes like the Asmat. The stories, however, were inconsistent, and many of the people he spoke to seemed reluctant to provide any solid evidence. The mystery of Michael Rockefeller's disappearance continues to captivate the public's imagination. Some argue that the Asmat people's traditional way of life, which included violent rites of passage and headhunting, was responsible for his fate. Others believe that he simply succumbed to the dangers of the remote jungle, and that the legend of his death was built upon speculation and rumor. In the decades since, the Asmat tribe has become one of the most studied indigenous groups in the world, with anthropologists and cultural preservationists working to document their customs and beliefs. Despite this, the fate of Michael Rockefeller remains a haunting and unresolved chapter in the history of Papua New Guinea. The Agogwe of Papua New Guinea. Among the most chilling and debated is the story of the Agogwe, a mysterious small human-like creature said to dwell in the dense undergrowth. Often described as shy but incredibly intelligent, the Agogwe has left locals and researchers alike puzzled for generations. The Agogwe is said to be around 3 to 4 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown hair, and remarkably similar to early human ancestors. Witnesses describe it as having a distinctly human-like face, with piercing eyes that seem to follow you even when it's hidden among the foliage. In the 1970s, a group of hunters from a remote village claimed to have come face-to-face with an Agogwe while tracking wild pigs. According to their story, they followed the pigs into a dense section of forest when they noticed movement in the trees above. At first, they thought it was a monkey, but as they drew closer, they saw it was something entirely different. One hunter described the creature as a tiny man with fur, crouching on a tree branch and watching them silently. The creature reportedly emitted a strange clicking sound, almost like a language, before disappearing into the treetops. The hunters were so shaken by the encounter that they abandoned their hunt and returned to their village immediately. Stories of the Agogwe have been passed down through generations in Papua New Guinea. Some believe these creatures are guardians of the forest, protecting it from those who would exploit its resources. Elders warn that anyone who harms an Agogwe or encroaches on its territory risks bringing a terrible curse upon themselves and their family. One particularly eerie tale involves a logger who ignored the warnings and cut down a tree believed to be sacred to the Agogwe. That night, he reportedly heard strange whispers outside his hut, followed by loud banging on the walls. When he went outside to investigate, he found nothing but footprints, small human-like prints that vanished into the jungle. The logger fell ill soon after and had to leave the area permanently. Over the years, many have tried to uncover the truth about the Agogwe. Some believe it could be a surviving population of Homo floresiensis, also known as the Hobbit, a small human-like species that lived in Indonesia tens of thousands of years ago. Papua New Guinea's isolated environment and vast unexplored rainforests make it a plausible hiding place for such a creature to exist undetected. Others suggest the Agogwe might be a misidentified animal, such as a tree kangaroo or an undiscovered primate. However, skeptics argue that the sightings are likely a mix of local folklore, misidentifications, and the human tendency to see patterns in the unknown. In 1994, a team of cryptozoologists, scientists who study unknown animals, traveled to Papua New Guinea to investigate claims of the Agogwe. While they didn't find the creature itself, they did collect intriguing evidence. Villagers showed them nests high in the trees that they claimed were built by the Agogwe, as well as samples of hair that didn't match any known local species. In one particularly haunting account, the team set up cameras in the forest, hoping to catch footage of the elusive creature. While the cameras failed to capture clear images, they recorded unsettling sounds at night, clicking noises, guttural grunts, and what sounded like distant laughter. What do you think of these fascinating stories from Papua New Guinea? Share your thoughts in the comment section below and help us expand this community. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.